Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you with Marvel Comics Presents number 81. This is chapter 9 of the Weapon X story, and things get violent and bloody quick, as you can see here from this foreboding cover with Logan's claw and Cornelius here just sort of not sure what to do with himself. So before we jump into everything, let's talk about who made this. Weapon X, chapter 9. Control of Project X has been taken out of the Professor's hands, and Logan is on a rampage. Story and art, Barry Windsor-Smith. Letterer, Jim Novak, and Barry Windsor-Smith. And this is a classic cover right here, folks. And just look at the deep purples, the bright reds, and then just kind of the glaring yellows in the back, like emergency lights. Whew. And the reason I say this is classic is I was kind of looking online at the collected trade of this series, and this is kind of the rendition. Like, there's different interpretations of it, but this is the panel that they use. And as you can see, these hired security for this Weapon X project is just not cutting it against the best there is at what he does, and what he does isn't very nice. As we saw from the last issue, Logan, so you know how there it said Project X is out of the Professor's hands? Well, it's both figurative and literal here, because Logan took Cornelius's hand. Now, if you remember when we went over Wolverine number 50, which if you haven't checked out that video, it's a good comic, and it was one of the inspirations for the animated series, so check that out after this video. But yeah, this higher security is telling the Professor to lay down. He's like, I don't need a stretcher, you fool. It's my hand that's missing, not my leg. So even vulnerable like this, he's still a jerkwad. It's like, of course he would. And so this kind of falls into Hines, Cornelius, and the Professor trying to escape because they know that everything's out of control. Cornelius is trying to help him, and the Professor is just one-track mind about how they're going to stop Logan. And then we cut again back to this, and we see this last security guy saying, "Heavy fire, sir. Couldn't stop him. What's your status?" "Nothing left, sir." "Sir, he's coming for," and without even being too what do you call it, too much gore, just that splash of blood against the caution or whatever that would be, like the lighting, says it all. And especially the way it just cuts out the "for me." That's just great stuff. And then of course Cornelius, Hines, and the Professor, they try to run into the adamantium reactor to try to hide from Logan. They say they'll be safe there. And Cornelius is trying to cope with the fact of using a gun. And while they're talking, you see Logan just walking through the massacre that he's left. And it's just, again, very... I like the way that Barry Windsor-Smith adds these horror elements to Logan to make him seem otherworldly. Because at this point, again, other than I think it's the inner monologue from the very beginning of this, which was issue 72, and I think maybe a couple of lines in issue 73, Logan has not talked since, and that just really adds to the terror of it. Now, Cornelius, I always get these two confused. The Professor is telling Cornelius to shoot the power packs on Logan to see if it maybe might shut him down. And Cornelius is saying that won't work because the power is down. And what I like is Cornelius says, it's not that it's down, it's in the control of another. So the Professor, again, as he's saying, is I'm not in control, I'm not in control. And that kind of turns into a mantra for him because he doesn't want to die. He's Like here, it's supposed to be secret who he's talking to, which we as the readers don't know who it is. And I don't think we ever do find out. Which, if I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments, because I'd like to know myself. But, you see him starting to plead. He's like, please answer. It's the professor here. Are you surprised that Logan didn't kill me? Why are you doing this? I'm not part of the rabble. You must know that. Answer me, please. Now, see how these are supposed to be like his radio communication voice boxes? Watch how they diverge. Not enough coffee today. Quickly. You see the stress in his face, and Windsor has such a way of showing facial expressions. The dark shadows, so you get that noir feeling. Now, the professor, again, is trying to beg with this other. He's like, don't let me die here. And look at the way his voice just, please answer. And while he's doing that, you see the rip of adamantium against the reactor core. And then we see Logan start to rip through the walls. So again, just these horror elements again. I just, whew, it gives you chills, because you're used to seeing Logan in Berserker rage, but look at the way that Windsor does his face. It's cold, uncaring, like some sort of sociopath, which we know that's not Logan, but because he's been tampered with, he doesn't know who he is, and all he wants is to be free. And so again, we get this stone cold killer. And speaking of stone cold killer, the professor realizes that he's just dead wood. And you can kind of see he's starting to lose it a little bit. And then again, just like in any type of horror movie or comic, you see this dripping of blood. Now, whose blood is that? What kind of amazing art do we have on the next couple of pages? Well, might I suggest that you guys pick up Marvel Comics Presents number 81. This has been a great read. And I like that Windsor-Smith, I don't know if it was his choice or Marvel's choice to put this in Marvel Comics Presents, because you only get X amount of pages, which makes you want to come back and back for more. And that's how I feel, because it just makes me want to jump right into the next issue. So yeah, if you guys have enjoyed this comic book, please make sure to first check and support your local comic shop if they have a copy of this. Pick it up. If not, then you can check out alternate routes, but we always want to start local first. And if you've enjoyed this review, we definitely appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little X bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys can come to the page. Love to have a dialogue and hear your thoughts down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I will make sure to leave the links down in the description below. So with all that said, thank you all so much for stopping by. I hope you all continue to have an amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.